at the amount of potato.
Pain in the ass. 6 slices of rice.
Freaking potato diet.
Disaster.
You're right. That was an unnecessary addition.
So I let AI dictate what I ate for 30 days to answer a simple question. Can AI now prep all your meals? I've tried all kinds of diets and meal plans in the past, but they've always been generic one-size-fits-all solutions that never really adapted to my life. They'd fix one thing and then fall short somewhere else. So the idea that AI could build a plan tailored specifically to me with just a few prompts and then keep refining it based on my feedback sounded really appealing, and I wanted to test it out. My plan was to let AI handle every part of meal planning and prepping. I would let it create the meal plan, then generate a grocery list based on that meal plan, and then tell me how to prep the meals from those ingredients. And finally, I wanted it to adapt the meal plan based on my feedback. 4 weeks and about 120 AI meals later, I can happily say that it absolutely sucked. For example, it regularly forced me to eat half a kilo of potatoes and asked me to prep tons of food without ever using it in my meals. So as the experiment went on, the question wasn't, can AI prep all my meals? It was, why is AI so bad at this? And why does it keep adding carrots to my recipes?
Just create a new project. Let's call it Nutrition Coach.
I gave the AI some files to use as reference. 2 nutrition guidelines outlining what a healthy diet should include, a report from a body composition analysis which had things like my weight and fat percentage, my schedule template, a list of macros for common foods, and an additional instructions document that gave the AI some instructions on what to prioritize in these documents.
Alright, let's see here. Hi there, here we go. Hello, that's it? Okay. I mean, it is the most probable answer, I guess. Let's create a meal plan.
Provide the following so the plan can be calculated correctly. 1 body weight
Look at the project files, no?
First learning point, the AI doesn't automatically look at the project files if you don't explicitly tell it to do so. It has access to the files, but it doesn't always look at them.
What is this? May not be a file contents. Why does it need to parse it? I thought it would be a breeze.
There's no guarantee that the PDF you throw in, it's gonna get parsed correctly. So maybe some images throw it off, maybe the formatting was a bit off. It's still gonna be natural language, but it can be all muddied up.
This is Veikko, an AI architect and a friend of mine. During this experiment, I called him multiple times and forced him to spend his valuable professional time answering my dumb questions about AI.
Okay, thought for 4 minutes and 26 seconds. Okay, let's just print that out, I guess. So here we have it, a 3-page meal plan. And now I'm just gonna take this grocery list, buy everything in it, then try and prep stuff according to these instructions.
Take a look at the amount of potatoes. 3.5 kilos for a week. Like, look at that. That's insanity. These were crazy. The cod. ChatGPT told me to buy 900 grams and 300 grams costs 10 euros. So I'd spend 30 euros just on cod per week. Let's do the meal prep. Total time target 90 minutes. Method parallel cooking. Time starts now. Start rice and preheat oven. Probably should have taken everything here before I start, but hey, this much potato in 4 days. It's freaking potato diet. I'll just put some pepper and salt and... So according to ChatGPT, I need to set a timer for 25 minutes for these.
What do you mean carrots? I don't think there were any carrots in the meal plan that you gave me.
You're right. Carrots were not in your finalized PDF version. That was an unnecessary addition.
Oh my god, this is gonna be a disaster.
This is a prime example of a hallucination. Probably the #1 problem with AI chatbots.
What are hallucinations?
completely wrong answer, not really based on anything. So they have this tendency because we train them to be form coherent sentences. We train them to give answers that get high ratings among the testers. So then there is this tendency to give answers even when the answers are not in the context.
So in the case of these carrots, the AI was predicting what a recipe usually looks like, and carrots are so common in recipes that adding carrots in the answer might have seemed like a reasonable addition for the AI.
Alright, that's all the lunch boxes done. Just like the most stereotypical, mundane lunch, chicken, rice, broccoli, but... Ow, ow, ow. Potato ready, but it took more like 40 minutes in the oven, not 25. But man, this is like I could probably just eat this and be full. That's half a kilo of potatoes. That is time. Hour 38. So hour and 30 wasn't a bad estimate from ChatGPT, and I would have probably managed to get it down to 1:30. So overall, a pretty decent performance. The time estimate was good, and for the most part I was able to just go through the instructions that ChatGPT was giving me.
But it was only going to get worse from there.
Okay, so let's do like an experiment within an experiment. So last time I told you about the mobility assessment I did with the GoWard app, and I did pretty bad at it. My score was 59. I've now been using the app for about 3 months, and I'm gonna retest myself to see if I've done any progress. And this portion of the video is sponsored by GoWard. Takes the test. Let's go. And this assessment is completely free. You can do it without subscribing to the app. First of all, standing forward bend. I can just barely touch the ground. So basically this mobility assessment has 10 different moves, and then you enter the results with like this slider where you choose how far you were able to move in that movement. And then for some movements, like this straddle split, you're using your phone as an analysis tool. So we're gonna measure the angle between my legs here. 96 degrees. And this assessment takes like barely any time. So you can do it on like a monthly basis, easily. Prepare to be amazed. Oh, it's like just there. Whew. Let's look at the results. 66%, plus 8%. So small improvements in all of the tests except the thorax. That's freaking great. I kind of thought that I would not have made any progress, but it's so motivating to see that I have. And this is exactly why I need a tool like this, to see the progress I'm doing in my mobility training. And if you want to do this exact same mobility assessment yourself for free, you can download the GoWard app from the link in the description. You also have access to their full exercise video library for free, and you can also start a 7-day free trial to try the full app before committing. And now let's get back to the AI experiment.
As for the overall quality of the meal plan, I'd say the meals were decent. I mean, they were very simple meals, but that's what I had asked for, and they were aligned quite well with the nutrition recommendations that I had given as source files.
Exactly what I expected. Pretty bland and dry, but this will do. But man, I'm hungry. Like, damn. The only time I've felt satiated, not hungry, was right after the lunch. But other than that, I've been hungry all day. I'm so hungry, I'm gonna eat 2 bananas instead of 1. Fuck ChatGPT. So these are all the leftovers from week 1. The amounts in the grocery list didn't really match that well with the meal plan. For instance, there's only one day where I eat Greek yogurt. Granted, it's an insane amount of 450 grams on Sundays, but ChatGPT asked me to buy 1.3 kilos of Greek yogurt, but I only eat 450 grams per week.
I also tracked the calories for each meal so that I could compare the estimates given by ChatGPT to the real calorie amounts.
Total for today is 2,320 calories. And ChatGPT estimated 2,450. But that about 130 calorie difference is probably just because the amounts were a bit wrong in the meal prep. Otherwise this would be pretty accurate, I think. But 2,320 calories, like for me, I've been hungry pretty much the whole day.
And the weekly total calorie amount wasn't that accurate either, because at the end of the week I had about a 2,300 calorie deficit, with the estimates for carbs and fats being a bit out of whack. But interestingly, the amount of protein and fiber being very accurate. But again, I think these errors are due to the amounts being messed up in the meal prep, because it seemed to me that ChatGPT did know the calorie amounts per, let's say, 100 grams, but then the amounts in the meal prep just didn't match the ones in the meal plan, so you get this gap between the estimate and actual amount. But I guess I can give that as feedback to ChatGPT, that it just increases the amount. Like we're gathering input, and then we're gonna give that input to ChatGPT and see. I have a list of improvements that I'm gonna give to ChatGPT, and then we're gonna ask it to create yet another meal plan and give meal plan instructions. Alright, let's see. Changes implemented. Lentil tofu rice bowl. That's pretty cool. Where are my snacks? Alright, here we go, another meal plan. Even after my feedback, the AI still kept messing up the amounts and ingredients all the time. For Friday, there's suddenly like no breakfast, no pre-workout, nothing. There's no snacks anywhere. There's too much tofu. There's no oven instructions. I mean, so yeah, it's what we can expect at this point. It's a bit of a mess. It's like the further I go with this AI, the more it keeps messing up. Like it has so many things it's trying to keep in mind or in the system memory or something. And then it just keeps freaking mixing things up. That's probably because I kept chatting in one long chat. See, what I learned is that when you prompt an AI, the AI doesn't just take your short prompt and generate the answer based on that. It takes the whole conversation up to that point as one big prompt. And the longer the conversation gets, the more likely you are to see errors.
If the first prompt wasn't maybe perfect, you got some false answers because of that, then that false answer is still in the context window, and like anything in the context window is affecting the answer.
So in other words, if you prompt the AI to remove the carrot from the grocery list, you might think that the carrot is now completely removed from the grocery list. But the AI still sees the carrot in your previous grocery list and treats it as potentially relevant information. And usually that's not a problem for the AI. It can tell that it's not actually relevant information anymore. But if you have a very long chat where you've asked the AI to edit the meal plan multiple times, like I often did, it becomes hard for the AI to keep the right ingredients in and the wrong ones out. But this is not what I would be expecting from an AI nutrition coach. Like the point here would be that the AI meal plan is adaptable. That's the whole point. That's the biggest benefit I would see in using an AI nutrition coach. Because if it's not adaptable, it's a generic meal plan, and there are thousands or millions of meal plans I could find online with a few clicks. Another major problem is that AI can't really think logically as a human would. AI can give completely wrong answers to scenarios that would be obvious to humans. For instance, if you ask ChatGPT,
I need to wash my car. The car wash is 100 meters away. How should I get there?
ChatGPT thinks the best way to do that would be to walk to the car wash without your car. And this lack of logic was sometimes very obvious also in my AI-generated meal plans. So, ChatGPT made me prep some eggs, by boiling them. But there are no boiled eggs in the meal plan. There's just, one whole egg and 120 grams of egg whites. The obvious way to eat that is to make it like an omelette or scrambled eggs or something. But now I'm gonna eat one boiled egg and then 120 grams of cooked egg whites. It's the classic boiled egg with cooked egg whites. But in the end, the biggest issue was probably me. It was my garbage inputs that messed up the AI. Often my prompts might have been too vague. Let's create a meal plan. In which case, the AI needs to guess the intent. Other times my prompts might have been contradictory. In which case, the AI tries to fix inconsistencies, leading to illogical output. I found this document that outlines 26 principles for good prompting. I'd say most of my prompts broke most of these principles.
For example, if you consume 2,000 calories a day, this corresponds to about 44 to 78 grams of fat per day.
How many calories do you think this meal has? Total estimate 685 calories, which is only 40 calories off from my calorie tracking app's estimate. So this was surprisingly good.
Some of the most eye-opening things for me from this experiment were that AI appears highly intelligent on the surface, but it has inherent flaws under the hood that sometimes make it completely irrational, illogical in situations where humans would think the answer is obvious, and that AI is surprisingly bad at storing and transforming large amounts of interconnected things. And I really tried to make it work, but no matter the approach that I tried, I just could not get it to work as a functional nutrition coach. And this is not to say that you cannot make them work as a nutrition coach, but this experiment basically shows the average experience if you try to create a meal plan with an AI chatbot. You will most probably run into many of the problems that I've faced during this experiment. But if you're watching this a year after this video was posted and all of these errors and issues have been fixed, I'm sorry I wasted your time.
You should treat it as a very smart 13-year-old, because it can be very smart, but it also can be very wrong and very confident while doing so. But I think everybody who uses these tools for a long time, they see that without proper context, without proper oversight, they can be exactly like this 13-year-old intern who's very smart, can do things you couldn't imagine they are able to do, but can also be very, very wrong and very confident being wrong.